Distracted by the nice weather, you might find the speedometer sort of swinging to the right. Watch it, especially in neighborhoods. Keep Kids Alive, Drive 25 signs. They're there to remind us. And next month, a run walk to remember, and it has 3 goals of its own. With that, the organization's executive director, Tom Everson, and Sherri Troupe is on the board, here to share her story. Sherri, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And Tom, it's great to see you.
Good to see you
your
again.
Organization, we've known about it for years now. For our viewers who aren't familiar with your mission, what is it?
Well, our mission, quite succinctly, is to help make streets safer for all who walk, cycle, play, drive, and ride. So that's really all of us. You know, we're concerned about safety both on and along roadways.
We see it on your shirts, Live Forward. What does that mean?
Well, Live Forward is our initiative in working with families whose loved ones have died in traffic incidents. You know, a simple way to put it is asking and answering the question, what good would you like to bring into the world in honor of your loved one? Because that's what Live Forward is all about. And that's what our run is all about, is bringing families together who have experienced the death of a loved one due to a traffic incident to really celebrate their lives. And this will be our 6th annual edition.
I was reading about your son, Sherri, Paul, and he was what voted most likely to make a difference in high school. It sounds like he had a lot of friends and a very bright spirit. Tell us about him.
Paul was just, his motto was no reserve, no retreat, no regrets. So he just lived out loud, and people were attracted to him because he was just warm and caring, and when he talked to you, he made you feel like you were his very best friend.
Why, he passed away in a car accident?
In a collision, yes.
A collision. Through this event, you're on the board, you'll be at the event, you're invested in this. It's not just that you're sort of taking part, but you're invested. Why is that an important part of Paul's legacy?
Because we don't want anyone else to go through what we go through on a daily basis. There's a hole left in your heart because you've lost somebody you truly love. And Tom is passionate about this, and you know what, that 5 miles, that slowing down the car, being more alert, can make a difference. And we don't want anyone else to go through what we have had to live.
Tom, the purpose for families broadly with this event, why do you do it, and what do you hear from them? Because you've done this before, years now. What do you hear afterward about what it means?
Well, I think it's, you know, there's a lot of excitement in bringing all these families together. A lot of times people might think that this would be a downer event.
No, there's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but there's a lot of enthusiasm, and you know, to me it comes down to sharing stories and making memories. Is that we need to keep those stories alive. We need to keep sharing about the goodness of those loved ones and how they continue to impact our lives each and every day. And it really is a celebration.
The word legacy comes to mind, and what do you make of the legacy of those you loved and lost? This is one way to continue it. And I said 3 goals with this event. Back in the day, we talked about 2 goals, and you've expanded it a little bit. What are the 3 points you want to make?
Well, I mean, one is to bring families together, to support each other. Another is simply to focus in on the kind of behaviors that we all ought to engage in order to make roads safer. In fact, a whole aspect of that has emerged over the years is this year we'll have the State Patrol will be there with their rollover simulator, with their seatbelt convincer, and Werner Enterprises is bringing their big rig out with a car behind it, so we talk about no zones. So there's an educational aspect of it as well. And then we look to have fun. The Pancake Man will be out there.
These special elements, these extras that you build in, because this is a family event, Tom.
It is. And you know, the Y's bringing their bounce house, Dino's Storage is bringing a bounce house. We've got face painters and balloon artists, and so we really just try to make
a carnival atmosphere.
And it's a fun morning.
You said the seatbelt convincer.
The seatbelt convincer, it's an incline that you sit in, you put a seatbelt on, and it comes down at 5 miles an hour, and then hits the there's a kind of a wall at the end, and it just hits it at 5 miles an hour. And the reason they call it a convincer, because it's quite a jolt at 5 miles an hour. And the jolt is really supposed to be a reminder, is like, if this is what it feels like to be belted in and to have impact at 5 miles an hour, just imagine when you talk about roadway speeds,
Yes,
you know, whether
sir.
it's 25 or 45 or whatever it might be, to really get people to focus on seatbelt use.
Well, if I could share a personal story as you're talking, I was the passenger in a vehicle in 1997 around Christmas time, and we were hit at the side. And had I not been wearing a seatbelt that day, I don't know that I would be sitting here with you. And the injuries were significant enough, but I'm so thankful. And that was the first time I ever remembered this, like my intuition kicking in big time. And the woman who was driving that day, she was very petite, and she said, my seatbelt's uncomfortable. When I'm driving, I don't want to wear it. And I refused to get in the car with her. And there was just something in the air. And I said, I'm not getting in the car. And we had somewhere to be. And she's like, this game is going to start if you don't get in the car. And I said, I'm not getting in until you promise to wear your seatbelt. I felt so strongly about it in that day. And looking back on it, I'm so glad. So I always say to people who are like, I don't know, I don't want to wear it. Please wear it. Please wear your seatbelts, and please look out for one another. I think that's what you're doing so beautifully in honoring these lives and then celebrating the legacies. Yeah. So important on April 29th from 7 to 10:30. It's at Scott Catholic High School. And the number to call if you'd like to connect with the organization, it's 402-334-1391. But the website is kkad25.org. Tom, for a lot of neighborhood associations, families are always interested in your signs. Are you still making those? Can folks still get a hold of those signs?
They can be ordered off our website, or locally you can purchase them at Curzon Graphics.
Awesome.
They make and sell the signs.
Not just in Omaha, but those suckers have gone all over the place.
We have worked with over 1,600 communities in 49 states since we started. So
for an Omaha organization thinking about how far you are reaching. It's great. Thank you, Tom. It's nice to see you as always.
Well, you're welcome.
And Sherri, it's great to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, for a lot